Hello everybody, in this video we're going to be looking at emotional intelligence and what it represents. This is mostly because in the last two videos I've been explaining what the ideas of the videos are, and part of that was that they're going to become more emotional. So in order to understand and help with the interpretations of the videos as well with the practice that I am focusing on, I'm making this video in order to help you understand, or at least help you see things better from my perspective. Again, this is just a point of view, but in general it is what I've discovered through other sources and my own practice. So having said that, let's begin. And the first thing that I want to mention is that the biggest problem regarding emotions is probably that we don't use them, or we use them in a negative way. The thing that most often happens to us, or the way that we feel emotional most of the time, is when we're angry or when we're disappointed. And to be fair, it can be misleading because it's actually the way that we feel alive. But the idea is that the way that we experience emotions in a negative way, we can experience them in a positive way. And that's generally the whole of it. We don't really need to focus on the negative emotions to feel alive. It's just what we're used to, because most of the time that's how we feel. We tend to go or strive towards a negative perspective, which doesn't help us. And that's basically what makes us feel uncomfortable. And most of the time, if we feel uncomfortable and we want to be good, we stiffen up and stop our emotions, close ourselves off, and that's kind of what provokes our anger, because we have no emotional expression, and that actually helps us be more aggressive. It's because the emotion is building up. We should be looking for ways that we can express the ideas that we have in our head. Now, naturally, since we're unhappy or something has happened that is against our preference, it's because we have something specific in mind, and we can share that, but the idea is that we can share that in a positive perspective, or we can accept what's happening and see it in a positive perspective and see how that is helping us. In general, every single event that is happening to us, it can be a learning step, piece, whatever, but we don't usually look at them in that way. And that's kind of the problem. We are more prone to thinking of how things should be, moreover than what it is and how it can be adapted or used or whatever. And my experience, as well as I'm actually sure that every spiritual teacher or whatever is focused on those ideas and explaining them, that whatever is happening can be used in a specific way that can bring gratitude and be more productive. And that's something that we mostly don't do. For one reason or another, we prefer to receive everything as a given, and we don't really think about what's happening and how we can use it. That's one of the other problems. Let's call it laziness, because it's pretty much, if we haven't started that way, it's where we're ending up. So being lazy is our problem. And lazy, I don't really mean that we have to do something all the time. It's just that whenever we are in a negative emotional state, we don't actually stop to think about how we can transform that, or how we can adapt or express the ideas that are in our head in a more positive way. Rather, we either think that we should start shouting, for example, or close ourselves off so that we don't experience those emotions. But they're building up, and usually if we express our anger, something gets ruined, something gets broken. And I mean, it could be something physical, but it also could be relationship and connections. So in general, I'm assuming, because I haven't looked at that, that's why I'm saying assuming, but generally I think that's why we don't express all of our emotions. But the idea here is that we can, and the emotional intelligence comes from the fact that we know and are looking for ways to express our emotions that are respectively honest to our opinion and point of view, as well as accepting and understanding of the surrounding environment's understanding. So if we manage to comply with both those ideas and focuses, the truth is that we will have an easier time of moving forward. And I literally mean moving forward, because when we close ourselves off, we're actually thinking of how we shouldn't express that idea even when the idea doesn't exist. And while we're thinking about those negative emotions, we're actually experiencing them. Whereas if we manage to express them and are thinking ahead to moving forward, we're actually pushing ourselves and are shifting through the emotions, but are also able to learn what's happening around us and what we should do next. So there's actual movement in the present through reality and understanding. So the idea here is that expressing our emotions is actually what we should be looking for, and the way that we can do it, also the way that it can help be more productive, build up, etc. Because that's how we're more accepting. How do we know that something is productive? Well, we can look around in our surrounding environment, because what we see is what we are. If we see negative perspectives, negative understandings, that's because we're actually seeing them as a negative perspective and understanding. But if we look at them in a positive state, well, then the emotion changes. And the idea is that it's far easier and beneficial to express emotions in a positive mindset rather than a negative mindset. Because the negative mindset is kind of us wanting to create the space for our own development in order to move forward and to create that space in the manner that we're seeing it. But the positive perspective is actually seeing that there is space, and what is currently happening is helping us see how we can do that, and how that is helping us, and how useful it can be. So in this case, I'm actually talking about the same event. It really depends on how we look at the event that defines the way that we're going to experience it. So in general, again, it's our mindset, and again, it's our responsibility individually as a person, but also collectively, since we're projecting those emotions around everything around us. So have that in mind, and I would really love your feedback to tell me, what do you think of the video? Do you find it useful? Do you think there's something missing? Is there something that has been misexplained, or isn't you don't understand? Put it down in the comments. I would really appreciate it. If you like the video, put a thumbs up so that we can rise up in YouTube's ratings, and share it with friends, family, whoever you decide, so that we can help them more about emotional intelligence. This is everything for now. Until next time.